All right, everyone. Welcome to the back to the channel here. In my best life Paraguay. I'm Ryan Aranda, and it's been a few months since I've shown my face. Been a few months since I put out another video, but I'm here with Aaron Equihua. Is that how you say your last name?
Equihua.
Equihua. Okay. Yeah. Hope I didn't fail too bad. But no. Aaron's a wonderful young man. Are you 25? You just turned
26.
26. Okay. Yeah, so Aaron just turned 26, everyone, and he's gonna get into his story here in a second. Um, but I just wanted to let you know kind of where I'm at too with things. I'm a couple months out from my permanent move to Paraguay, and I'll be setting up shop, and I've had a lot of stuff I've had to take care of in the meantime. The logistics and all that. I got my dog chewing on his bone in the background. He has his plane ticket. He's gonna fly out like a week before me. And so that'll be at the end of June for me, and then I'll touch down. I got first 30 days I'll be staying in a condo, in a really nice condo, and then after that I'll be looking for more permanent housing, and then you guys will be on my journey when I take a look at some of these duplexes and condos and stuff, and it should be interesting. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at with things. And so Aaron is one of my first, like, I want to say like 15 or 20 subscribers. uh and now I'm at like, I think 86, I think I last checked. So shout out to everybody that's there, who's subscribed and who's part of this channel and gonna follow me on my journey. And so I wanted to bring Aaron on, because he has an interesting story and is very unique. Um, and because there's not too many people like Aaron who are um who he'll tell you in a second, but he got his Mexican residency, actually full citizenship, right, Aaron?
Yeah, full citizenship.
Okay. So he got full citizenship. That's he was not born in Mexico, but his parents were. So it was a kind of an easy process, just like mine was for Paraguay, because I was able to kind of by birthright as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, Aaron, like, he just has so many good insights. So I wanted to get him on the channel. I could call him a friend now. I mean, we've had so many conversations outside of this, just like texting back and forth and whatnot. He's hit me up for a consultation at the beginning too. So I mean, we've talked a lot already, but we wanted to get you guys on the channel, a little bit of his insight. And so I got a few questions for him. He'll pop some back off to me, and then we'll just keep this a discussion going here. So first of all, Aaron, thanks for coming on. Thanks for putting up with all of my technical difficulties too in the beginning. And if you guys don't know, Aaron was actually on. He gives a longer uh interview where he really explains very well the Mexican residency slash citizenship process for those who have ties to Mexico by bloodline. He goes into a lot of detail, and that's on Jose Arteaga Travels channel.
Yes.
And shout out to Jose Arteaga. He's a great YouTuber. He has amazing insights that go beyond Mexico. He lives in where's she? Merida.
Yeah, Merida, Yucatan.
Hmm. So he lives in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico. Jose does, and he has a great channel. I'd like to collab with him one day too, and maybe get us all three on a video. I think that'd be really dope.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so Aaron has a longer video out there. I'll post that in the description down below. And so anyways, I'll stop talking for a second. I'll finally let Aaron get a chance to speak here. So Aaron, if you can just explain who are you, and give us a little bit of your story.
Definitely right. So my name's Aaron Equihua. 26 years old. Uh, I'm born in California, born and raised in Southern California. And I mean, I'm a native of my hometown where I still live, which is the Imperial Valley. So my soul kind of goes a little back close where my parents were from the city of Mexicali. They were born in Mexicali, which it's basically like a border town with Baja California, California, on the U.S. side. Um, and yeah, I mean, you know, on both sides of my parents, that we have a huge family, and most of them immigrated um, at that time of like in the early '60s and '70s. Um, yeah, and so basically, yeah, 26. I went to school here all the way to high school. Um, Went to college as well. Um, I think where I had more interest as far as travel, well, really, if I could step back, it really started in my younger years. Um, when we took our first trips out in Mexico. And I remember only the summer when I was 8 years old, the first time we took a road trip with my dad. It was my dad, my brother, and my, my mom as well, us four. And we took a road trip all the way from Nogales, Arizona, and all the way down to central Mexico. So I was able to see extended family, just kind of like how in Ryan's story, how he's able to connect with his groups, with his family members. I had the same experience as well. Um, and those were memories that I won't ever forget. I was able to visit extended family. I was able to see the countryside of Mexico, uh, in different states of Mexico, so Mexico State. Um, so yeah, so that led to more trips, out in my adolescence to Mexico. Um, and I've always been a traveler at heart. Um, I think one of the biggest moments of my life, in regards to travel, was when I took the opportunity to study abroad while I was in college. It was my third year, um, and it was like a summer study abroad program that my local college offered, and it was for a month that I spent in Spain. So that was like literally my first time in a different continent at the time. This was before the whole pandemic era. Um, so I knew that once I came back from that study abroad trip, right, it was in Spain, Italy, that I wanted to continue to travel well, right? So I don't I don't really state it a lot, but I actually had an opportunity at the time in the year when pandemic happened where I was given a job opportunity to work as an English teacher in Colombia. And that was it was with a government agency from the US, which was the Peace Corps. Um, but at the time when I got accepted, everything changed. Obviously, the country's closing, borders closing, that sort of thing. So I kind of had to resort to working here locally. Uh, so, uh, so yeah, so basically now the last few years, and especially this last year, I've really been researching, contacting other guys in the space of travel, looking elsewhere to know in multiple uh, second citizenships, that sort of thing. Um, and basically, the last year or so, I've taken it much more serious. Where I have a mentor at the moment that's helping me get into remote work. Um, as well as last year when I finally did my paperwork for my citizenship in Mexico. Um, so yeah, I mean it's been a journey from just really finding where it is that I want to set roots. Um, there's a lot of reasons for it, as I know that you guys might know with Ryan's channel. He's shared about where cost of living, just lifestyle, just opportunities. You can really find them outside of the US or outside of the West. But it takes a certain uh, person or a certain individual to have that mindset to really see what's out there. But yeah, that's my story so far. And yeah, I mean, so far this year, it's just focusing on landing remote work. And I'm hoping that into this year, by the end of this year, I'll be able to do start traveling beyond Mexico, and then work my way to the rest of Latin America as well.
Yeah, no, that's all great. And uh, so so when or actually here, let me start with this. So it is safe to say that you fell. Is it safe to say that you fell in love with Latin American culture, and all your time abroad?
You know what? Yeah. I think, well, in my case, because I am like a native of, like I was born in the US, but both of my parents had instilled like a tradition or just the cultural norms of being Hispanic, being Latino, or in this case Mexican. Um, so at a young age, I kind of fostered myself to learn the Spanish language because I started with English, the first language, but I really put myself in the fire, right, to learn the Spanish language, to communicate with family members or people who speak that language, right? Um, I think when I went to school, a couple years back when I was in school and studying a lot, it was a lot easier for me as well as for most of the people in the group because we were able to communicate in Spanish. Yeah, that. And then, yeah, I mean, not to be biased, but like, just Latin culture is just more, it's got more like flavor to it. Like, if I can put it that way. It's just like, and innately, I feel just innately in myself, I am an extroverted person. Uh, I do like to go out. I was dancing a lot a couple years back. And I still do it every now and then. Salsa, myself out. I love music, love Latin music. And by Latin, I can do like, music from Mexico, Dominican Republic, from Brazil. Um, Definitely my favorite kind of music. Um, so I just feel like Latin culture, like I've just learned to have accepted it more now that as I'm getting older or becoming a woman life, because I guess there was, even for myself, and I'm pretty sure with you, Ryan, like you you kind of get a sense of like your identity or questioning your identity with like, okay, like I'm American, but I have also Hispanic or Latin roots, and I feel like that's a battle that most of us have. Well, it used to be like you kind of turn away, like, oh, I'm not that kind of Latin person. I speak English, right? Like, it's, I don't know how to put it, but,
Well,
it's go ahead.
oh yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but no, I think that the best way I ever heard it is the Mexican saying, right? Ni de aquí, ni de allá. I'm not from here, I'm not from there,
Yeah.
and or and but I mean, absolutely. I mean, see, and the, those who know my story, my deeper story, you guys can go check out my videos. But I mean, there's so much cross section. Like I'm adopted, right? But I know exactly what Aaron's talking about, and Aaron's first generation. But like you don't really know where you belong, and the whole time you're growing up, you're trying to like I was the same way, but in a different way. I had to approach it because I didn't have Latin American parents and stuff, but so I had to like go outside the box, meet friends, and then later like travel as well, just like Aaron did. Um, but your whole life, it's a journey of searching. It's a journey of trying to put yourself into positions where you're gonna experience Latin culture. And in fact, what Aaron's talking about, guys, dancing is incredibly important. Do never never underestimate like how far how meaningful dance is because like I mean ever since like middle school, high school, like that like you guys can go to house parties and all that stuff, but like yeah, I mean you especially like when you're like 15, a lot of people are having like quinces and stuff. Like that's like deep in our cultures, you guys.
Yeah.
Like that's like, and I think that that's because like there's so much hardship and poverty in our countries that like when people get together, people really try to have a fun time. People really try to like just get all their energy out in a positive way through dance, through music. And a lot of us like Aaron, like we start like, putting ourselves to like dance and like and that brings us together. That like, we create entire friend groups because of that. Um, and uh anyways, I'm going off on tangents here, but what Aaron's what everything Aaron is talking about so far regarding culture and the similarities. Like you might be in my position, or you might be in Aaron's position. Like you may be somewhere in between cultures, but the journey to find yourself within all these cultures and see where you want to end up in this world, like that's the real question that you got to ask yourself. And or you might be watching this and you might not have either of our experiences at all, but you still find yourself as an American, but you still want to leave because
Yeah.
whatever it is. And Aaron can talk about that more. um so which kind of goes into my next question. uh when if you can try to pinpoint the time where you absolutely knew in your heart that I need to get Mexican residency slash citizenship, and I need to pursue this in order to live abroad because I can no longer deal with America.
Yeah, that's a good question. Right. So I think I noticed it. I want to say I started noticing it like in my college years. Um, because I think when you're in a system where an American system, Western system, call it the matrix if you want, but I think when you're led to believe that like America's number one or America is like everything that you desire, right? Which I mean, to some degree, the US has presented opportunities. Um, I can say for myself in the history of my family, when my parents came, um, this was during like the Bracero program, right? Like where it was, if I don't know if you're in it, Ryan, but basically like before, like during World War II in 1982 to 1964, about 20-year gap, the U.S. wanted to incentivize Mexican farm workers to come to the U.S. to work in the fields and stuff. And my grandpa, actually both of my grandparents from both of my parents' sides, they were a part of that history. They came and they seek better opportunities. That's why most of my family immigrated to the U.S. for say. I think I started to see it like maybe I want to say maybe let's just say when there was an important election, a couple years ago, let's just say 8 years ago, right? Where I think the narrative of like the U.S. whole was like perfect place. I started to question. And like I said, even in my college years, that's when I realized it. And I've always, I mean, and just from my experience, out of any other, I'll even say this: the country that I've traveled the most, as far as cities and states and regions, has been Mexico. It has never been the U.S. Um, the U.S. I've visited, you know, California, Arizona, Washington, Alaska, um, most of like the Western U.S., not the East Coast or Midwest. But in Mexico, I mean, I've been to so many regions that I I started realizing myself when I would share people about Mexico was that they didn't even know how diverse Mexico was in terms of landscapes, the coastlines and colonial cities and all that. Um, and it's just saying for like most of Latin American countries like Paraguay, Colombia, those places where there's so much diversity. Um, I think that's when I kind of had a identity crisis, I guess. So,
Or awakening.
or I think it was more of an epiphany, more of an awakening where I will say though, it was definitely with the pandemic, but kind of shook me, and kind of made me look into my roots, like to consider having Mexican citizenship, not just because the reason for connecting with my culture and having that as an insurance plan of also looking into Mexico to live eventually, but also to be diversified again. That makes sense. Um, but I think really, I think once, like I said, once in my early 20s, right now that I'm 26, my early 20s, I started to kind of lean towards Latin culture in that sense, speaking more Spanish, having more friends who are from Mexico, especially like being in the dancing or just Mexicans that I've met across the travels and stuff, or other Latinos for that matter. But in my case, I am American. Uh, I am born in the U.S. Uh, so I think I think that's it took some moments. It took some years until last year when I was getting serious about it. That um where I was at uh, in my life, being that I'm still young, I'm looking into the future, and that's when I really took it serious. Where I started seeing YouTube videos of uh, other people traveling in Mexico or South America, and like setting up shop. And I'm like, well, why can we as immigrants, right, in the U.S. do the same? Why don't we consider it, right? Um, so I want to say that yeah, the last few years actually that's when it kind of hit, especially last year. Finally took that whole steps to get my shit.
Definitely. So it sounds like it was kind of a mix of a lot of things for you, right?
Yeah,
Come to that conclusion. But so and you were at the end, you were saying you're kind of fed up with a lot of the politics going on. I imagine also the economy and what your dollar is worth and not worth anymore. But at the beginning you were also saying it's also either cultural crisis and or awakening. And like I just wanted to throw that word in there because a lot of times we, like, us who are in between cultures, we always think of like, damn, I got to deal with so much, damn, I got to deal with so much, damn, I got to deal with so much. And then later in life it's like, damn, I dealt with so much and I know so much now,
yeah,
and like later in life it really comes like back to benefit you. A lot of the stuff that um it's we won't go too far into like early years of school and all that, but it's a difficult process to like to live and to call or to be like to have like several identities.
yeah,
um and like you did, like you explored, and then that got you more into traveling, that got you more into exploring and more into searching out more research online and seeing other people's journeys and their travels. And so yeah, so every question I'm asking Aaron here is very complex, right? There's no like one good answer, and that's kind of the
yeah,
same for me. To like for me, like for example, that I would put this same question like, when did I know? I always knew. Since the very first trip I would go to Paraguay, I always knew I would move to Paraguay. I just thought it would be significantly later in life, like in my 40s, maybe 50s, retire. But kind of like Aaron, I was seeing like, damn, there are opportunities. Maybe it's not impossible. Like maybe I should like take a chance. Like maybe I should like try to pursue this.
yeah,
Getting to Paraguay, which is exactly what I'm doing now. But you know, over the years too, for me, because I started 12 years ago, I just saw more and more beauty like going on my country, and then I just saw more and more issues with the U.S. And if truly, if the U.S. was going in the right direction, like if we had a booming economy, if houses were more affordable, if my dollar were worth more, I was gonna do what a lot of homies did. Like I was gonna meet a woman there, most likely, especially after like a breakup I had like a year and almost a half ago now.
yeah,
I was gonna meet a woman there, and I was gonna invite her back here. but then you're just playing the same rat race game with another mouth to feed. Or not that I'm saying like,
Yeah.
like not like that, but it's hard to survive here economically. And so for me it was kind of a mix of things too. It was me falling in love with my culture. It was me uh seeing the problems with America, and especially in recent years, man, especially in the last 4 years and even 2 years, when
Hmm.
inflation has just gotten so out of control. And then
Yeah.
like you guys have probably seen on my last videos, those who have seen my last videos, but like I put that number out, the $495,000 for an average house. And you start calculating these things in your life and you're like, look, man, I'm gonna be well into my 40s, if not 50s, and like I just don't want to start a family that late. Like I would
Hmm.
love to start a family in my late 30s at this point, or like something like that. And it's just like, dude, I'm, and it's not to say you need to have a house, but a house is a good investment. Like
Yeah.
a house is something that you are able to either cash in on or pass on later in life once you're not around on this earth anymore.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a lot of frustration. Like
Yeah. I mean,
along with the wine I'm running away from and I'm running towards also,
yeah.
like
Yeah. I
uh,
mean, I could say the same, Ryan, with like the whole thing with housing. I mean, it's just so, and me being from California, right? And where I'm located, I mean, it's 2 hours away from San Diego and Riverside, right?
mhm,
So you'd be surprised that like where I am locally, um, houses right now, especially with the last year or two with inflation, interest rates, the houses are going for easily mid 300s, 400,000 right now at the moment. Where a lot of these homes 20, 30 years ago that my parents bought, my neighbors bought, or friends or family of ours that bought were a lot more affordable, $100,000 at the time. Uh, so inflation has gone up so high, but your dollar hasn't stretched or hasn't gone up as well. So it's so it's complicated right now. It's just really it makes you question like, can I afford to have the things I want here?
mhm,
And that's why a lot of people like myself and just other people they're looking at other places,
mhm.
seeing if they can make it happen.
Yeah, and and I'd be forgetting you're from Cali, but oh my god, dude, Cali has some of the
Yeah, no.
worst statistics for housing. I think I saw like there's an article that said like 19%, or maybe it's like 17 or 19% of Californians have the ability to get financing for housing. And I'm like, that's 1 in 5 people. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? So, and a lot of people who live maybe in Wisconsin, like I do, it's like, oh, that'll never happen to us. It'll never get to that point. Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you gonna gamble on that? Like, look at every major city. Look at Chi-Town. Look at New York. What's New York rent? Like 4, 5 grand, something like a ridiculous number. And you just think about these things, and you're just like, how can you afford not to move? How can you afford not to look into residency? How can you
Mhm.
afford not to start thinking about these plans? And believe me, these plans don't just take out, like, they don't just happen in one day. Like I said, like I was fed up with a lot of things in life a year and a half ago, and I already had like I got the culture down, like I got the language down over the years. But you know, I was thinking like, damn, dude, I really need my ID. I can't be effing around anymore. Like, I need my ID there.
Yeah.
like, and so I was like, dang, okay, I got my ID now. All right, let's try to get out of here. You know what I mean? And I'm already working virtually, and I'm still transitioning into something new. And in my case too, I also I want to say this too for people, but also once you get your residency, try to always try to look for opportunities there that you could work for as a resident from being from that country. And it shouldn't be your primary goal, but it's a solid backup. You know what I mean? So like I'm talking about like teaching English. I'm talking about like, can you find something like tutoring English, translating documents, that kind of thing,
Mhm.
that you could maybe do in Latin American countries. Because like, yeah, the virtual thing might work out. It might work out for a while, but I mean, a solid fallback might be, hey, you might be end up being a university professor as a teacher or something if you start testing and doing the right things.
Mhm.
And also like try to do something online besides like the 9 to 5 online stuff. Like, take a chance, try to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
or
I'm thinking about at the moment.
yeah, Aaron, I have no doubt that once you start yours, yours gonna blow up, and then you're gonna have to
Yeah.
bring me on and stuff because I'm gonna be falling behind you and stuff. Nah, just
Yeah.
like uh, but no, for real though, like it's just it's sad to say, but like if you stay in the U.S., I mean, what are your options? You're gonna have to get another job. You're gonna have to like really grind hard. You're gonna have to hope for that raise or promotion. Which even with those, like you're still not keeping up with inflation. You're not keeping up to the housing like numbers that you're not gonna need to reach. Like, it's sad to say, but a lot of people need to make six figures these days. And like I know I'm not there, but like that's why like if you can leverage what you do have, try to end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
And and once you do, hell, even if you give yourself 3 to 5 years somewhere, and then just like try to figure it out the best you possibly can, you're at least like making a decent gamble because
Yeah.
if you stay here and you play the rat race game, like like I said, you're just gonna be stuck. And then if you're a guy dating, and if you're a guy like trying to like hit these marriage marks and like getting that ring, get it, having funding that wedding, doing that inside of America, like, bro, I mean, you better be saving right now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, definitely. I mean,
Uh,
it's yeah, it's like, I mean, it's if you're making 50K, let's just say 50K in the US, you're statistically considered poor, especially
mm,
in a lot of the major cities, like metropolitan areas, right? Might be different for smaller cities or different or smaller states. But if you take that 50K and use it elsewhere, right? In some parts of Mexico or Paraguay, I mean, you can 5x your money, um, like
easily,
easily.
easily,
Geologists find it. That's what they call it. Like you know, taking your US dollars and then use it in other places.
easily. And, you know, well, two things about that. Number one, never feel bad about that. Never feel bad. Like, oh man, like I feel bad that, I'm from an economy that's gonna be better when I get somewhere else in another economy. Don't feel bad about that. Just recognize what you got and live life. And there's a good chance in life that you're gonna give back. You know what I mean? So like don't trip about that stuff. But the other part about what Aaron was saying is like that 50K number. Take a second to seriously think about what he just said. 50K times 5, you're at 250. You're a rich man or woman, even in the States with that kind of money. You're doctor level. You're like in the States, and you're it, and that's why take these few steps, you guys. Take these do these travel to the country, fall in love with a certain country, pick one, get one down in a few years. Don't travel the world for like 25 years and then pick one. You're just gonna be wasting money. Like start researching, follow people on channels, uh, you know, and then seriously like look into which residency processes are the easiest, cheapest, like the where you think you're gonna end up in life, like long term, and then try to pursue that stuff, you guys.
Yeah. I think in regards to that, Ryan, like you mentioned, like don't travel the whole world. Um, I mean, yeah, there's varying people in YouTubers and stuff that do travel like everywhere. Whereas it's cool to see online. So um, I think it's a beautiful thing too when it's like you have travelers or guys that are rich and well, it seems like they find one or two places that they go at home. Um,
Mhm.
this whole idea that I used to hear about. Wow, now I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you've heard of like nomad capitalists,
Mhm.
where it's like, oh, you gotta have 25 passports and these many residencies and this, and that, and it's like I mean, that's not for everyone. Like, if
Hmm.
you just have one, one or two places for set up shops, like you're golden. Like just knowing, like you said, knowing where it is that we want to um, set roots off, we'll explore more, whether it's like Mexico, and I think historically also like might tie into one of the topics they're on. But I think like when I hear people say like, oh, I want to live in a certain continent like Asia or some parts of Europe, right? I mean, historically, if you look at Latin America, um, in the last 100 years or so, with migration, with with world wars and all these different things, like Latin America has always been people. It's always been friendly with immigrants. I know with your country, from what I've read and stuff, that Paraguay being so historically friendly, right? That and I would, man, like that's a beautiful thing to hear with Paraguay, that Paraguay has had German communities, Spanish, Italian communities. Same thing with Mexico, where I know uh, with some people some family and friends of ours that we know that will have Middle Eastern or Arab roots because of the Latinos up into Mexico or that sort of thing, right? Mexico, Latin America is a lot more. Right now, I think it's going through a golden era right now where um, you have people like where I went to last year. I went to El Salvador last year. And actually, that was the first country I traveled to in Central America. Um, I went to go visit a friend of mine, that a couple of friends that I had from working in Alaska, and they had told me all about El Salvador, and I went ahead and went. I did a solo trip on my own. Um, and El Salvador was amazing. It was an amazing place. But a lot of places like El Salvador, Pucolo, Javier, Monten, from Argentina, right? Like a lot of these countries that have gone through so much suffering and were tainted by the world stage, they're changing their image. Um, or they're not only just changing their image, but they are changing uh, rapidly. They're in the incline, while in a lot of places, like in the US or in the West, I mean, you're seeing statistically that in some metrics it's in the decline when it comes to the safety or economics, right? Uh, well, yeah, I mean, it's exciting to kind of be living through that and seeing that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, Mexico. I mean, the peso. It's been incredible.
Yeah,
The value has really shot up. Um, and I think that that's good. I think that I think all economies, like I would like to see all currencies get stronger in Latin America, no matter what it does to the dollar. To because at the end of the day, you still want to be living in an economy that's moving up. You don't want to
yeah,
be living in an economy that's moving down, even if your dollar gets a little bit less over the years. Like, just calm down. You're still gonna be fine. For
yeah,
real. But I'll mention Paraguay. Like, I'm actually gonna do a whole video on this because there's so much going on. But in Paraguay, I mean, there's condo buildings going up everywhere. Every single YouTuber you probably heard tell you that, and you'll see it like with people in their B-roll and stuff. Like there is literal like it's impressive. Like there's so much investment in the country. And Paraguay is a serious crossroads country too. Like historically, it's not just like and that's because of rivers as well, river trade, which a
yeah,
lot of people really discount. And I'll say two other projects that are well, actually three things that have happened. There's a brand new bridge, Los Héroes del Chaco in Paraguay, that went up, that is going to increase even more trade between Argentina and Paraguay, even more so than already existed. But more importantly, Paraguay has a deal with Uruguay, and Paraguay is actually going to set up a port. I don't know the name of it, but they're setting up a port in Uruguay, but it's still a Paraguayan entity. I know that's kind of hard to understand because they don't share a border, but you know, because rivers are like international like free zones, I guess.
Mhm.
You know, and it would be like an act against like the Mercosur and against like international treaties if like any country would be like, no, you can't travel anymore. So
Yeah.
so anyway, so that's a super positive thing for Paraguay. It's a major port. Paraguayans produce a lot of goods. But more importantly than that, I think I'll do a video on this. I want to say it's either infographics or real life lore, but the Panama Canal is having a lot of issues. And Colombia wants to make a route by train through their country to get to connect the Pacific and the Atlantic, right? And to connect trade, and that'll do a few for like upper Latin American countries in the north. But more importantly, Chile is going to be connected to Brazil because of the highway systems that Paraguay is building with Bolivia. So, and that's going to pop up, I believe, next year. Um, I don't know the name of it. I'll put it in in the video. But yeah, that's going to be a major game changer for Paraguay. Paraguay is going to have a huge say in trade that happens in the majority of Latin America. Um,
Yeah.
you know, because you know, for a lot of reasons, the Panama Canal just has so many issues. And it's a super political, political, um, uh, port of or trade, right? Route. Um, and if you think also just like on a global scale, South America, um, and even Central America and Mexico for that matter too, like it's in the not hot zone. Well, besides the Venezuela, Guyana bullshit that's going on. Besides that, um, you know, South America plays nice. I mean, look at the Middle East right now. Look at Europe right now. Look at China and Taiwan right now. I
Yeah.
mean, like everywhere else on Earth. I mean, look at India and China. Like they're, I mean, every other place on Earth, you guys, is like could develop in a serious hot zone at any point.
Yeah.
So it's good to live in a regions, maybe not right in Paraguay, maybe you go to like Argentina or Chile or something, but it's good to at least live in regions where things aren't just gonna pop off like you know, like any day that like she wants to, or like I don't know, or whatever the Houthis want to keep bombing boats or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, you gotta like consider this stuff. Like, yeah, there might be a beautiful place out in the Middle East that you adore to see and maybe live there and you're really attracted to Middle Eastern women, but it's a hot zone, you guys. It always has been. Like, look at Europe, man. Like, I know that a lot of people are moving to Romania, and because it's like, well, Romania was pretty dope. I would love to actually visit Romania, but I mean, bro, it's bordering Ukraine. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
if that what is it? If that power plant goes off in Ukraine, if that Zaporizhia power plant, I mean, that's overspilling into Romania, like other countries, and then you got a whole nother deal and war maybe potentially on your hands.
Wow.
Then you go to over to Asia, then China's just threatening everybody, building bases in the middle everywhere.
Being the big bully basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, you'll have more peace of mind in that regard.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so I did want to mention that too. It was a big
No,
tangent,
de-
but it's important.
definitely.
It's important to
Definitely.
consider those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Latin America is where at the moment there's not a lot of like conflict, like international conflict for the most part. I mean, it's just more like you pretty much summed it up. Um, yeah, like I mean, I think I heard a statistic where I think Paraguay has like the second largest water reserve in the world.
Mhm.
That also like it's in terms of like the whole like a nuclear uh, attack, right? Like you started dropping them in Europe or in North America. South America, for the most part, would be sort of away from that tragedy, right?
Mhm.
Politically speaking, and also just geographically. So, so
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll put an image of exactly what Aaron's talking about. He's talking about the Guarani aquifer, and it's ginormous piece of it. I mean, it's the size of countries. Like that's the underground water reserve that these are exactly the why the southern region of South America gets along. Not just because of this, because like Mercosur also, but like because they have to play nice, they have to share the biggest water reserve in the world. You know, Brazil, Argentina. I think it goes into Uruguay if I'm looking, but Paraguay certainly. Um, you know, and also I will say this, and it might be kind of boring aspect of history, but you know, Paraguay was actually going to be eliminated off the map after the Triple Alliance War in, I believe it ended in 1865. That's the same time, pretty much, or maybe 86 or something like that. But like the same time as the U.S. Civil War ended, just to give you context. But Paraguay was pretty much allowed to exist as a buffer state between Brazil and Argentina, so they can kind of pull on the political leaders of like, okay, if anybody were to invade our Paraguay again, we're gonna step in or we're gonna step in. We all want to play nice now. uh, you know, after they looted Paraguay of gold, that's not a conspiracy that actually happened.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
ask any Paraguayo about hidden gold. There's hidden gold everywhere because they're rich. Before the war, uh, Paraguay had a ton of gold, and they just buried it everywhere. And there's movies about this stuff, and it like university professors will talk about it. It's super real. There's maps and stuff, and it's crazy, crazy stuff. But Uruguay was sort of in the same boat. Um, but you know that's kind of why you wonder like why are there these two random little countries that like get to exist with these two major superpowers, you know. But that's kind of the reason, right? And nowadays, you know, everybody has to play nice. And you know, and it is things like river trade. It is things uh like we all have to take care of the planet relatively, even though Brazil always fucks up and wants to chop down all their rainforests or whatever. But
the
yeah, I
Amazon,
mean that was my biggest problem with what's his name, Bolsonaro, I think his
also
name.
not.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, so anyways, what I'm trying to say, it's a stable region, and that those are some of the reasons why. But you know, it's important, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to live into a country where it's just like you you never know if something's gonna pop off, man, and it's just not going to happen. And the southern cone of Latin America, in fact, it's probably one of the last places. And I haven't mentioned Africa yet, but Africa, I mean, it's such a gigantic continent. You're really almost talking like four different like regions when you're talking about Africa.
Yeah,
I think Africa has so much potential. The only problem is that everybody has their hands in Africa. You know what I mean? Like all the European powers, like for colonial reasons and all that. And you know, if they can do a little more uniting, even by region and even like country to country, like they can really be a that could really be a place. And I think if South America and Africa do much more trade, I think that that could be extremely beneficial. You know, I think that we need to stop like having China and stuff just like over overdo it way too much in most of the Latin American countries. And Paraguay actually is now one of those countries where China's overinvested in. They still have money there, but you know, that's because China is closely tied with or Paraguay is closely tied with the U.S. and Taiwan, which China obviously hates. So, um, anyways, there's just a little more context of stability, you know, in the region. Okay, so let's try to take it somewhere else here. Okay, you've already answered this, so I'm not gonna ask this again, but I was just gonna ask like, are you fed up with the American economy? Answer is yes for both of us. Um and okay, let's switch this into dating. Have you dated in Mexico? And what has your experience been like?
so I have dated I want to say the last year or two. Um, in Mexico, I mean, being the fact that I'm close to the border. Um, so I will say that I've had better experiences with dating as far as like, um, just thinking of, uh, you know, getting a girl's number or starting a conversation, setting up a coffee date. Um, and yeah, I mean, Mexico is a huge country too, because I mean, from the north to the south, I mean, you have really different um, regions, right, of Mexico. Um, I will say, well, you can definitely find from my experiences when I visited, families that travel and stuff, especially going to like a small town, the Shea High School. Um, I recall memories like I'll just give one, like a personal story. So I so one of the towns close to where my grandpa was from years ago, they would have this tradition where every Sunday inside of the town, they would every Sunday evening people would go out and basically uh basically like men and women would come out to this plaza, like the center of the town, and in most towns, right? And what they would do is that they would have like the girls, the younger girls, or younger ladies, basically walk in a circle around the plaza, while men from that town or from other towns nearby, they would basically have flowers or roses, and the women would pass by outside of within that circle. And if a woman were to take your rose, that means that she was interested in. So I have memories as a kid, like when we would visit, and my my dad, because it was with my parents and other families, so like we would visit, and my dad would be like, "Hey, like go ahead and I'll buy you a couple flowers, like compra unos flores, like a ver quién nos va a agarrar los flores and see who gets those flowers." Uh, And so, yeah, so like, I mean, those traditions are still there. I know to this day, especially in those regions of Mexico, like they're not as prevalent now with social media and just technology in general, how it's kind of changed the landscape of things, right? Um, I would say in my experience with dating in Mexico, like, I mean, like I've gone on dates and there is still sort of a tradition of like, oh, if he is inviting me, he's gonna post it. Like, um, but I guess with Mexico being so close to the US, there is sort of to a lesser degree, like, we have a like mixed genitals of like, oh, split the bill 50-50. Like, I've never really experienced that. I've only experienced where if I take a woman out, uh, I'm gonna pay for the date, right? And then say there's a second date, she wants to invite you, um, then I'll let her post, right? Because that means that she's showing photos. So that's happened to me as well. Um, but I will say, yeah, in Mexico, like I was saying, it's a big country, but you can still find good women, just like you can find good women in the States. But with the US, it's kind of that sort of mindset is changing, right? Um, I guess, yeah, I mean, it's how do I say? It's just really they let's just say dating in the US has gotten more, I don't want to say economically harder, but like just your average guy sometimes can't get the kind of goal that they want. They have to like sometimes they have to show that they have a lot of money or or someone of status, right? As a man, you have to do your best to find out that kind of guy. Um, but yeah, dating in the US, like I've had good dates, I've had bad dates. Bad dates have been a lot more memorable just because of, you know, expectations of what the girl might want. Like, you know, um, yeah, I mean, I just feel like, and also another thing, I just feel like being outside of the US, um, it's just a little more natural in a sense where in the I'll put it like this: dating in the U.S. can kind of feel like a job interview. I actually did go on a date a couple weeks out uh, using a dating app. But this was here in the States, and like within 5 minutes, I already felt uncomfortable because of how much um, my date was like giving all these questions and just not really enjoying the date like that we were having. Whereas when I've had dates in Mexico, it's a little less of that. It's just more of like, oh, so like, what do you like? Or I don't know, what are your interests, right? Um, so I will say that there is that comparison where dating in the US can feel like well, there's a set of expectations right off the bat,
Hmm.
and it almost feels like a tense interview. Dating should be fun. Right? You should laugh, get to know the person, and that's sort of the gig. So that's been my experience so far. Rolling in Mexico, not anywhere else at the moment in Latin America, but I assume that like in South America, maybe some parts of Central America, it's kind of similar. But for the women are just more open, more friendly. Um, they're more receptive to us. Well, I think in the US right now, um, you have this you have this powerful force in this agenda of like, oh, men and women can do the same thing. Men or women can do what a man does. A man can do what a woman does. Personal and truthful, I don't feel that way. I know women are both capable just like men, but at the end of the day, none of them get um, have certain strengths called they might not have. They have kind of have certain strengths called dating, right? That's why men and women they complement each other.
Hmm.
So, um, so yeah, I think in the US it's kind of there's a lot of that PC culture. I just put it like that. But what it is to date, what it is to be a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something new. And so yeah, been my experience. Let's put it.
Yeah, yeah, no, thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, some of the first things that you were mentioning, like the interview type, right? I think that that's so deeply embedded in American culture and other Western cultures, and even more in some high efficiency Asian cultures like Korea, Japan, China. Like everything depends on your like
On
you're
your
not even a
status.
person. You're not
Yeah.
even a person. You're just literally like a job title. You're just a walking job title. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I swear to
Yeah.
God, I dated a Chinese girl like who just came here, like in college, and this actually, well, yeah, I was it was my first year out of college, and I was still bartending, right? And then I told she told her parents that I was a bartender, and like I didn't know that that meant like you're basically like a gangster over in China, because like I don't know, I guess like only the gangsters hang out at bars and shit, whatever. But anyway, so but that's just it's like an extreme version, but the same phenomena exist in the U.S. where it's like it's very like um go down the list of what you need to be, and like for me, I usually passed a lot of those tests. Like I was in college, I did whatever, whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
But it was so boring. Like it was so like shallow. And
Yeah.
and the question that like because I grew up in an American like white American family, and I've expressed it. I don't like hearing this, but everybody asks you like what's the first question when they ask you or one maybe one or two first questions they ask you if you're dating a girl, even as a guy, right? And what does she do? And I'm like what
That,
she does, what she does
that's
is she keeps me happy. What she does is like she like I get to like wake up in the morning and be a more productive person because like I have somebody by my side who's like I'm killing the game. Like what she does is like inspire me. What she does is like but they want to hear, oh, that job title. And if it don't match up, even like, a little bit, they're going, oh, well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe I won't. And just like so much depends on that fucking job title. And it's just like, look, like I don't date girls for their job titles. I don't. And plus I'm a guy, I definitely don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I
Same.
look at their heart, like are you sweet? Are you kind? Can we have a good time together? Is it going to be more of a headache or more of a blessing for me to be with you? Like, is it going to be more of a like us getting along, us doing a lot of things? Hell, I mean, and that kind of is stuff advances our lives too when you're with the right person. So that's why it's like it's not just a game. It's not just like everybody thinks that we're just trying to get laid, but like
Yeah.
it's serious stuff. It's like, look, if I can have a good woman in my life and maybe it won't work down the line, but hey, at least we have a few good years or something.
Mhm.
Well, that's a few good years of like productivity, advancement, and hurt by her end and your end. That's
Yeah.
like so when people over focus on like job title, and they're immediately putting in their head, okay, well, I'm gonna get on Google and see like, oh, what's the salary and shit, I swear to God, there are girls like that, dude.
Yeah.
Uh, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but
Oh yeah.
you know,
100%.
and it's just so boring, dog. It's like, and us, like, we're over here, like in Latin America when you date, man. Oh my God, dude, it's so much different. Like I straight up dated girls. I didn't even know what the fuck I did for a living. They just know I was like that American Paraguayan, like who just came, and I'm just like
Yeah.
singing them songs and shit, and like we're hitting karaoke or like whatever, dude, and like it just
Yeah.
like or like just dancing or like they're friends of the family, so we're just like getting each other to like know each other that way. And like it could be like 3 weeks later, they're like, "Oh yeah, what do you do again?" It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's not important, dude. Like it is important, like obviously, but it's not like that's not like their dating criteria. Like, are you a good guy? Like, do you have a little
You
bit
make
of
this much
style,
money.
swag, charisma, that kind of thing? They're looking into more than just like what's your job title? you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Jesus Christ. Yeah, but
Yeah. No, I, I definitely concur with that. I mean, I think in Latin America, like for the most part, in most of Latin America, it's pretty much like based on your characters, right? As a guy, like what a woman looks for. Yeah, it's the guy's a gentleman, right?
yes.
Well, if he's a good if he provides, right? And providing doesn't mean like you gotta have $1 million in the bank. Like providing means that like you can provide something, right, for the day, or just you know the basics, right? Because that's where it's at this point now, where with dating in the U.S., like as far as in the big city, I don't know, just areas where you hear about these stories with Jake dating and stuff, and now just again, it's like expectations, like it feels like a job is. It's like we're just trying to get to know each other. They're not, the first date shouldn't feel like right? It's gotta, it's gotta flow, and you gotta like get to know the person for who they are, and like and like you said, if it's someone that is gonna be like a headache, and like close for the milk. Um, yeah, and I think like we saw, it's like in Latin America, they don't really ask. Like they'll like you for who you are, but it's not gonna be contained to the job plan or what it is that you do. Well, um, and in Latin America, it's like anywhere. Yeah, there's cultures like that, and subcultures of women that want you just in your money, while like gold diggers, like just like that's anywhere across the world. I
Mhm.
guarantee that, right? It's just that it's a lot more rampant, like in the Western world, where um, a lot of women think that they can explore this guy who's a unicorn, right? Like this guy he's 6 foot tall, he's this, he's this skin tone, he makes this much money, and it's like, I mean, good luck finding a guy like that, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
I'm gonna be nice, loyal, dedicated to you for the years and or life. Like, get out of here. Like, that's
I'm, I'm gonna tell you right. I think in my early years, so whoever's watching it, right? But in my early years, I I do recall, having a lot of like female friends at school. Um, and especially some of them that will they know only my parents, so I know their parents, etc. So it would be like parties and gathering with the parties, that kind of stuff. But even at that young age, I really learned and like picked up how and I women can do it, right? Like, what they really think about like man or the guys that they're bleeding. So, just sometimes how oblivious like photos when you see it's like I guess modern American women, right? The um what they really think of or what it is that should work for. Um but yeah, I mean like from my experience, I mean I don't think I mean I can't see myself like just in my from my personal opinion, like it's hard for me to see myself get married, living in the States. Um, getting married and going through all that. Not just there's just so many reasons for it because I total. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have this whole like total stories of divorce and it's like one partner does so well, etc. Like the values that my parents and my grandparents once had, you're not really you're not really seeing that in the US as much. I mean, it's still there, but like like I've stated before, the bigger forces are influencing a lot of the youth to look at relationships in certain way or to perceive them or approach them in the wrong way. Um, and I think in other parts of the world, there's still some form of traditionalism, some form of conservatism in a sense, not just politically, but just in the sense of just having values when it comes to relationships with men and women, right? Where the man respects the woman, right? And the man provides for the woman, but also where the woman respects the man. The woman doesn't, uh, you know, the woman essentially
causing causing
submits
needless
to,
problems and yeah.
yeah, adding more problems to the problems that we already face as men. Right? Trying to figure out like what's our next step.
Mhm.
What are we going to do to build a future for work and living in the house? Like, and I think in the US, women are led to believe that like we shouldn't do that. Uh,
Yeah, it's almost offensive to them sometimes. Like even
yeah,
if you like mention hey, at some point, if you wanted to, and when we get enough money, you don't have to work anymore. Well, but I
yeah,
need to. Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just saying, just put it out there.
yeah, yeah, and I mean there's so many things to social media with movies with media in general like that. Uh, you know, most women are forced like, to believe that, right? And I mean, women, I've seen it before, respectfully, I've seen women that can handle a career and also maintain a family, which I mean, I give so much props to women to do that, right? Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, nowadays, like I said, like there's the whole independence, um, like women wanting to be independent. Um, to a certain extent, it's good, but I think it's been misinterpreted. Someone's role that women are led to believe that they don't need a man, right? And even I believe wholeheartedly, I believe that same thing with men. Like, I don't think like men not needing women. Like, it's not that we don't need, not needing women, but it's also wrong to for men to put, oh, I don't need a woman, right? Like, uh, those beliefs are, yeah, or I think it's selfish for both genders, for
Mhm.
men and women. So I think the US is having a power struggle, or the West, right? The Western is having like power struggle. It's economically and also with relationship wise with um learning the boundaries and the roles that we play as men and as women. Or um so and I think in most parts of the world women understand that, the man is the man, the man provides, the man is the protector, right? You have to protect, you have to it's in our nature.
Uh,
Um, but then let's to think otherwise. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And regardless of even culture, like I mean, you can take a look at stats and who are always the most successful in society. So those who have two parent households who stay together, and we can go down the whole single mother, single father road, but like we already know the outcomes for children. Um, yeah, I could throw stats all at you guys, but you already know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Uh, and just for a fulfilling life, like I always see, and there are parables about this stuff, you guys. Like, you want to be that grandfather at the end of your life. You want to be that grandmother at the end of your life. Like, you want to, and okay, maybe there's some serious like circumstances that allow you or don't allow you to get to that point.
Mhm.
But for the majority of people who are able to, like, that's where happiness lies. Like, you can derive so much happiness from a good woman. You can derive so much happiness from a good man. Like, all this, like, playing around forever, like, deep into your 30s, 40s, like, believe me, man, I've seen a lot of people, like, get down and out because of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it, like, personally, like, with personal friends. I've seen it with hell, I mean, I bartended for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, some of the saddest people were, like, the ones later in their life, and they just didn't have anyone, or, like, they were, like, trying way too hard to, like, uh, like, as older people, just, like, trying to go for, like, way, way younger. It's just weird dynamics that, like, you're gonna have to put up with down the line if you don't start taking dating seriously, or you're like you said, like you're going for that one unicorn man who's like 6 foot, six pack, all the 666,
All the 666.
whatever
Yeah.
uh stuff. But if you play that game forever, it's gonna come back to bite you. Like, I'm sorry, but it just is, and it's sad to see because, like, in Latin America, so I'll give you an example. So Paraguay, the average age is in the country is 26, and the average age here is 39, or maybe going on to 40, I believe. But that tells you that there's more families, uh there's more interactions, there's more younger people. Hell, if you guys go to date, there's more options, like per capita and stuff. You're gonna find lots of women like in their 20s, man. Like, lots of women like early 30s. Like, it's a Gen Z, like, millennial nation. Like, it's not an old nation, Paraguay. It's a young, like, thriving nation. Yes, we're only like 8 million, but believe me, there's still lots of beautiful options there for you
Yeah.
guys. And yes, I'm putting in a shameless plug. Go to Paraguay. That's what this channel's about. Yeah,
It's about Paraguay.
yeah, it's only about Paraguay. No, just, but yeah,
God,
yeah.
if you compare that to like with other countries right now, that their fertility rates are dropping like crazy. With like
Mhm.
Korea and Japan, uh, to some extent maybe the US, but like there's other countries right now where it's not looking too good with economically for their fertility rates.
Yep. And
Their culture or just their system doesn't um it doesn't allow it to thrive, or say, hey, like we need to reestablish our the norm of having families, like you mentioned it, um making it yeah, just the culture. I think it really comes down to culture when it comes to fertility.
yeah, culture and laws. Like, so
Culture laws.
what Aaron's talking about, you guys, is like he's talking about like the South Koreas of the world. He's talking about Japans of the world. Um, and there are other like random countries too that have this issue. But, like, for example, like statistic in Japan is
Mm.
they would need to bring in 5 million immigrants a year in order to sustain their population. Now, they're not doing that, and they've never historically done that. And a lot of Japanese look down on all outsiders.
Yeah,
um, so, like, they're not going to be able to solve their issue. South Korea, not so much either, because they're kind of like Japan. They kind of think that they're hot shit, and then they don't bring in immigrants and stuff, and they don't
yeah,
just share borders either with, like, countries either. So they're gonna find themselves in power. But America's not far behind. We're in the stage of cultural degeneracy. We're in the stage of of nobody wants to be with anybody. I don't need no man. Or on the other side, I'm just gonna be an incel and play video games all day, and I'm not gonna do anything to improve my life, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hate on women, and then, God forbid, maybe one of those crazy MRFers goes shoots up a school or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so
True.
that's like, you know, what we're split 10,000 ways in America, and actually, like, this is one of the times where I see men and women split, young men and women. Like, we shouldn't be split. We should be like together, like
Mhm.
not just as like couples, but like we can't even get along around almost anything. And I'll say something on top of that. I'm a hard leftist. Like at least like I'm a Bernie Sanders leftist. Now, when it comes to the cultural stuff, not so much. When it comes to like my personal life, not so much.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just because like we're just taking such a wrong like left turn culturally, but also the right wing is trying to like hone in all the power too. So it's like it's bad on both ends, right?
Yeah.
And once like and so yeah, going back to um the dating part about it is like we're not going in the right direction. We're gonna have a low birth rates. And then yeah, the one thing about America is if we want to, there can be as many immigrants as we want. But can you sustain like 10 million coming in a year, or can you sustain like this amount or that amount? I mean, that's the game that America can play if America chooses to play it. But either way, low birth rates it is due to uh, like a lack of stable families and communities, which is the product of people aren't dating, people don't have money to get married, people aren't stepping into relationships, people can't afford rings, people can't afford weddings, people can't
Have
afford cars,
children.
people can't
Have
afford
children.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah, people can't afford that, even that first hospital bill that you get once you have a child. People can't afford that. Like
Yeah.
people can't afford anything. Like even with combined incomes, like that's what it really boils down to, economics, right? And then the
Yeah.
cultural can come after that, and you can either like theoretically in a perfect world that would bring us together, but now it's splitting us apart, so it's just all in all, the theme is America's not going in the right direction for a lot of things. And
Yeah.
especially for young men, when you start seeing those statistics that like it shatters my heart, man, because I didn't have like problems in my 20s like dating or whatever, but actually, well, after my last breakup like a year and a half ago, I actually promised myself I'm not going to seriously date in the US at all. It would be a bad investment money wise, like for my energy and emotions and stuff. And plus, like I just really wanted to hone in. Let's just get to Paraguay. Once we get there, you know, we can do our thing and
Yeah.
all that. Yeah. So yeah, we just dove deep into dating. If you have any last things you want to say about dating, because this is a seriously important topic, because a lot of guys are suffering. A lot of guys are just living perpetually lonely lives, and it's sad as hell for me to see, because I was always that guy that was out there working jobs, like talking to people,
Yeah.
involved in a lot of things. Like when I was Aaron's age, I'm 32 now, but when I was Aaron's age, I was involved in a lot of stuff. I literally started Latin nights here, like
Mm.
in my city, like got stuff popping, like so anyways, like that's my stuff. But for a lot of you guys, like you guys don't even have one date, one girlfriend, one kiss. Like it's sad for me to see
Yeah.
like how many of you guys are alone. So like this whole thing, what we're talking about today, is one of the solutions, you guys. I'm just being realistic with my channel. I already see the stats. It's pretty much all men that follow
Yeah.
my channel. And if there are women out there, please comment on this stuff. We want to know your thoughts. And in fact, I want to do interviews with women too. But like, and if you completely disagree with everything that me and Aaron are talking about, please let us know. Please let me know. Or write it in the comments. But these are undeniable trends that are happening. Um, so and you younger guys, don't don't go down in no hate, just like Aaron was talking about.
Yeah.
Don't start saying stupid stuff like I don't want a girl. Like yes, you do,
Mm.
bro. You need a fucking girlfriend, or at least at some point, Like, yes, you do. That's really incelly language. I hate to hear it, but like, bro, just do what I did. Just like be like just super hard on your dreams, and just like, and all that rest of that stuff will come. I guarantee you, it'll come.
The the
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
Um. Okay. All right. Maybe we could probably take it past it, but um. Let's see if we can. Okay. Let's go into this question if you got time. You got a little more time? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the big question, and I might title this video around this, but what are your thoughts on, and we kind of already went over this, but I just want to get it out there for how I feel about it and you feel about it. What are your thoughts on passport bros, and are you a passport bro?
So, ooh, man, like, so for one, I'm like the question, am I a passport bro? I wouldn't consider like I wouldn't put that title on myself. Um, because I mean, like, it's gotten a bad rep in me, right? Um, but I mean, we could put it in different terms. I've heard of other terms of like men with passports or blue book gentlemen. There's like other subgroups to the whole passport movement. I think really, if you look at it like passport goals has, it's gotten the title the last recent years, especially the last year with it kind of going bullshit. Um, I think my thoughts on it is there are certain guys that are traveling to these other countries for the wrong reasons. Um, I think, but like I don't know if you know about it, right? But like especially like one place that has got, which I haven't gone to at all, was like in Colombia, where like in the city of Medellin, and we've had a lot of guys where we're being, like you feel it on the news, on the internet and stuff of guys getting drugged in Medellin, uh, especially in that city of Medellin. But the fact that uh, a lot of guys they're approaching like the old daily overseas, but sort of in a role of like, oh, I'm gonna be the whole pay for playing type of thing, right? I'm gonna pay for that, and they call like sex exploitation. Um, I think I think it's kind of given a bad rep to the whole movement, right? Because I think what really because really passport bills was kind of something that was started. Um, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know like with military, right during World War II, where a lot of guys that would travel to the Philippines, to Europe, right? White men, black men, really different race. But I know the last few years with passport bills, it's been uh, more with black traveling, right? Um, but I think my whole take on it is I think it's not only just for travel, but it's definitely more for like the economical and lifestyle purpose of being a passport, right? If you wanted to call that. Uh, like I said, I think there's groups because I've been in some groups and I've gone out of some groups where there's guys in there that are in it for the wrong reasons, right? Like certain women that they're dealing with. I mean, and I mean with women that are like are sort of I don't want to say similar to some, but like it's like if you go to a distant country, but you end up getting with a chick that you know has a lot of tattoos, and she's like really, like hugely so that in that appropriate mood. Um, so I think if people like ourselves, like myself or Levi, or other guys out there that, or even women too, right? This may apply to women, but um, either if they're looking at like data or scenes, I mean, um, it's more for reasons of like trying something different, right? Meaning people who are similar or different culture. Um, and like I said, I guess my thoughts on it is that yeah, there is kind of that tainted image due to like recent events that have happened, like drug use and uh, murder. homicidal events like happening against those who are passport bros, and then like vice versa with women and stuff. Um, but I mean, Shandu kind of, like I said, I wouldn't put myself as a passport bro. I mean, because in my case, I have different reasons for it. Like for me, it's more travel, the cost of living or living overseas for cost of living, for real estate opportunities, which at the moment I have been looking at the last few weeks in Mexico and start just calling real estate agents and getting more information. So I can't put myself in that category of passport, like all the, the whole mainstream. Like I, I, I don't consider myself that, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah, no, that great points you brought up. Yeah, for I mean, for myself, uh, I don't either. And also for myself, like, bro, I've been traveling for a while now, like 12, 13, 13 years. And when did Passport Bros come out? Like, what, 2 years tops? Whatever it was, 3 or 3 years. So, like, anyways, if I technically were a Passport Bro, which I'm not, but if I was, I guess I would be on like the way older slash OG Passport Bro or something like that.
the
No.
OG,
No, I don't know, but no, the point is that like my first, I mean, my first video on this channel is called Adoption Reunion and My Future, right? So I started traveling just to reunite with family. I didn't even, you know, and then culture and all that came along with it. But like that was my sole purpose. I didn't travel for like sex tourism and all this kind of crazy stuff where there are, and like you said, there are guys that is a real thing. That was never my thing. And I had so much luck overseas. I'm like, I just even like, why does sex tourism even cross men's minds? Like seriously, like you're gonna be so successful anyways. Like without that, like I mean, hop on a Tinder, don't hop on a Tinder in Medellin or other cities in Colombia, but you hop on a Tinder in like most of the rest of the world that's not a Western country, like you're gonna like destroy the game, dude. Like I swear, dude, like it's insane, man. Like how many you're in fact going to turn it off at some point, like because you're just like, okay, I already got enough. I don't need to be doing,
yeah,
you know, and 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 actually when I came back, I left my Tinder on, right, and it was just night and day. And I know I'm not like no Ronaldo or nothing like that, like nothing, like, you know what I mean? But I'm like, damn, because I remember back in the day, I got more and stuff, but yeah, I was younger, better looking guy and stuff. But my point is, like, I just left it on, and I just like checked and like it was active and all that. Like when I got back to my hometown here in the States, and it was just like one cave troll, man, and I was just like, I just matched like 100 and something like beautiful women up in my country, and then I come back and it's like one, and I'm just like, damn, dude.
yeah,
I'm
right.
like, okay, never again in America, like and I was just like, damn, dude, that is hilarious. Like just the contrast, real like you just dime like every other day, every few hours you get like new match and stuff. When you go to Latin America, then when you come back, it's just like one like rainbow hair like like 45 million tattoos. Like my girl down there, like I am kind of sort of seeing the girl down there in Paraguay. Like she has some tattoos, but bro, she's still incredibly feminine. Like
Yeah.
it, like her tattoos don't overshadow her femininity. Like girls up here, man, some have like they're like gang members. Like I remember like especially you being on the West Coast, dog. Like you used to have to be like a chola. Like you used to have to like to have some of these tattoos these days. And I'm like, there are like 19-year-old girls out here, like spending like 3 grand on like fucking tattoos on their neck, face, and like they're not even like connected or affiliated or nothing. I'm like, damn, dude, like, and it's just bad looks, like And I don't know, we're getting a little like too like, oh, no tattoos. I got tattoos too, but you know what I mean? Just like, damn, dude, like calm down a little bit on some of that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I think yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, there is that, like, in the States or on the West Coast, like, everyone got tattoos. I mean, it's accepted everywhere you see it. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think femininity, I think that's something that I didn't even touch on. It kind of goes back to the beginning thing. I think why passion is sort of picking up is because of the lack of femininity right now with women in the
Yes.
US. Or I mean, I would, the, and I might offend some people that I think women in the States, they can be feminine when they choose to, when they want to.
Yeah, it's
Um,
conditional femininity.
it's
I like
like conditional. Yeah, that's her, like conditional feminine. Because I mean, when you come across like a woman, right, that um um like she'll cook for you or say, oh, like take care, like for example in El Salvador when I stayed with my friend, like very humble house. It was actually in along the coast in the like poorer region of El Salvador. Um, his wife would just cook and she didn't even question about it. She would say, "Oh, I made you guys food, like because to give you guys food because I know you guys are hungry." It's like those little things that you just notice, like the difference for the women as far as their femininity. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely, man. And and I've seen this play out in the last 15 years, right? So like right when I was like 17, 18, that's when I started, and all the way up to now, it's changed like crazy, man. Like I've dated very feminine women here in the US, like, and then, they did all the modern things, like have a job, went to college, all that stuff, but they were just more sweethearts. Like even just 10, 15 years ago, man, I'm talking to you. Like, I'm telling you, man. And like, nowadays it's just, oh my God, man, I feel bad. I feel bad for younger men. I seriously do.
yeah,
Like especially like if you're just like 19 or 20 as a guy these days. And like, the stats even tell you, especially if you like hop on Tinder, what the 95% of women are going for the top 5% of man. And it's like,
mhm,
where's that leaving then the rest of the 95%? Like you guys
yeah,
are gonna have to like get out of whatever city and situation that you're in, man, because I'm telling you, you're not gonna live a fulfilling life if you stay in and you struggle and you're not making like well over 100 G's and you're not no fucking Chad like looking like
yes,
Ronaldo type dude. Like,
a
I'm telling you,
Ronaldo.
you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle hard. Even the good looking like guys, even the guys with money who don't like aren't too flashy, like because they're not flashy. Even a lot of them are struggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's just crazy, man. But and that's a big reason why the passport bros is going up, and that's kind of the whole theme of us bringing up women again and bringing up dating is because that's why passport bros are traveling. Like I said, I don't really identify as that for my reasons. Aaron doesn't really identify as that. Um, and also too, I just think it's funny. It's like, especially in the early days of passport bros, is like, did you know that Latin American women are more feminine? And I'm just like, bro, like you're talking about our families, like our
you're,
cousins, like you're talking about our like
you're talking about my tias and
yeah, right. And I'm like,
my
dude,
literally.
exactly. And like you're talking exactly like our tias, our primas, our everybody. I'm like,
True.
yes, of course we've known this, dog. We've been telling you this. In fact, like when you date like somebody up in our family, like, as long as they're not super, super duper Americanized and forgot all their traditional stuff, you know what I mean? It's like you're gonna have like a good experience. Like, in fact, my first girlfriend way back when I was like 15, she was not even first generation. She just came as an immigrant from Mexico and was there since like middle school, I believe, and I dated her in high school, and she was the sweetest girl ever, man. Mexicana, just like adored her to death, bro. Like, it was a shame we didn't work out and all that, but that's a different story for a different day. But you know what I mean. But nah, man, just absolute like hearted gold, dude. And like, and today, like I know for a fact she lives one of the best lives out of anybody. Like she got her other boyfriend, and then they have a solid marriage, family, and that's what I'm talking about, like the benefits of like actually staying with somebody, like actually like caring for that person, And like I just said, and believe me, if she was like an evil monster, I would tell you guys. But she was so sweet, so caring, so traditional, so wonderful, like, just to be around. And I've always tried to find that, and I haven't found that again, really. Like, I've dated other Latinos who, but they're way more Americanized. They just didn't have that,
Yeah.
like 4 years ago they're in Mexico type deal.
Yeah, no,
And like, yeah.
I think to kind of interject on that, like I think a lot of guys got it twisted when it's like, oh, I'm dating a Hispanic woman, or she's from the States. But Hispanic women that are born and raised in the States, depending on how the family is or how they're raised, it's a lot different compared to a native Latina, right, from Mexico or
Mhm.
from South America. Like it can be a lot different because they might carry those same like uh beliefs or views of like being more Americanized, like doing the whole 50-50 or not even respecting their land, right?
Mhm.
Or their partner, right? So yeah, it's different. It's different for sure. Like when you compare Hispanic or Latin women from the States that are born and raised from the States, and then the ones that are from their new countries.
Definitely.
Uh, yeah, that's a huge thing that I noticed as well. Like, uh, it's not always the same, which it can be different.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man, absolutely. And like, I will say too, like there are other ethnicities too. Like, I mean, I've dated white girls too, and specifically there was one white girl who was very sweet, very kind, and like, if I would have not been such an idiot, like maybe it would have worked out and stuff. But the point is like she was from a very Catholic family here in the U.S. and that was so hard to find, dude. Like, even like in the city where I'm from, like she just barely got to high school, and like, but the whole time before that, in like middle school and elementary school, she was at like this little Catholic school. But like, like she had a heart of gold, man, and she would do a lot of the womanly things too, like, and like she wasn't even overly like feminine, like in the way like, oh, I do my nails and all that shit. Like, but she was feminine in her genuine nature of wanting to see me like happy. Like, I
Yeah,
remember, like, and women might downplay all this stuff, man, but don't downplay this stuff. This stuff like melts our heart. Like, it's like little things, like they'll ask you like, hey, I just really want to check in you, like, how are you doing, like, on a deep level, or like putting their hand on your heart and being like, hey, I really want you to like calm down, and we're gonna figure out this situation, and we're gonna make everything all right.
yeah,
you know so I'm not saying, because a lot of people will probably maybe look at this video and be like, hey, they're talking about bad about every single American woman. It's like, no, we're not. I've
no,
had great experiences with some American women, but we are in an individualistic, very selfish, very narcissistic society here.
yeah,
Like, that's undeniable. I mean, people have been saying this about Americans, and even Americans say this about Americans for decades, dude.
hmm,
Like, this is not new news. Like,
yeah,
everybody knows, like, the selfish American, boisterous, like, individualistic American. That's something that's existed for decades, dude. And that's not
yeah,
something that just popped up in 2022.
yeah. No, definitely, it's not a collectivist society like in other places.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah. So, I know we've been on here for a while. I think I just have one or two last questions for you. Um, just if and you can answer these as quick, or if you want to elaborate, depending on the time you got. But I guess you sort of already answered this. But why do you think it's important for young men to obtain at least one other permanent residency in another country?
so um, there's a lot of reasons for it. And I'll just kind of go off in any order for it. Like from like in any order, I'll just kind of say the reasons why. One, I think it's for definitely for more diversification. Like I have stated over, like having a plan B, that or like some insurance plan where it's like those for some reason you want to move to a different country, right? For financial, economical reasons. Um, you can look at it that way because I kind of see it. I don't entirely see it that way, but I do see it that way to, just partially to some extent. Another thing too is, I mean, it's just traveling to different countries. Um, and and also if you want to reside in one or stay longer, depending like guys that are working remote work, or maybe they work 6 months out of the year back in the States and they want to be somewhere else for 6 months out of the year, they can always have that residency. It's like the way I see like residencies is like kind of getting like an invitation to a party, right? It's like you visit, you can show up to this party, right? But if you want to be invited exclusively to this party, right? Like maybe have VIP treatment or maybe have um,
Hmm.
more benefits to per se in that invitation to that party, then that's when you get for residency. Right? That's kind of how I see it. Um, and yeah, I mean, and then also, I mean, it's you can bring something to that country. There's you have a business of some sort, or like you want to set up shop, for products or anything. I mean, a residency is going to give you that opportunity to establish yourself. Like me, for my case, that I'm a Mexican citizen now. Uh, Now that I have my papers, I have my INE, which is like my identification card. I have my birth certificate, my Mexican passport. I can travel as a Mexican. Or, or like one of the things I want to get eventually is like a Mexican bank account. Um, I've been looking at real estate the last few weeks, just talking with real estate agents, just getting more information on that in different regions in Mexico as well. Um, so you have a lot of benefits here with only residency or just a residency in general. Because you have access um, to the financial sector. You have access to you want to rent or possibly own property. I know Paraguay, in your country, Ryan, Paraguay has one of, I guess, one of the most free residency programs or residencies in the world because most people are accepted into the to obtain a residency in Paraguay. Mexico as well to the same extent, uh, although there's requirements for like economic solvency. It's been a lot higher now. Like it used to be where like you had to show like $1,000 per month in your bank statement. Now they raise it to more like 30 to 40,000. Like so,
That's a lot for a
but
lot of people.
it's a lot for being Mexico, and that kind of shows that Mexico also is going, in that direction. Right?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, residency, there's different reasons for it. It could be for marriage, like if you're gonna get married, or if you want to own property, or if you want to open a big account outside of the U.S., or if you just want to simply stay long. Those, I mean, and like I said, like I had stated earlier, like you don't need to have like, you know, 4 passports and 5 residencies. And just if you have one, at least one, right, that you know that you're gonna put your focus on, and eventually you want to set up shop and live at your home base full time or part time in the year. That's what makes the residency worth it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You brought up so many good points, and so many. I really like the point you brought up about possibly setting up a business too. I've looked into because like I bartended and stuff, and then worked in restaurants for years, and I was just curious, seeing like what that would cost like in the city I live in the States. I mean, bro, you're talking tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? And like if you wanted to like do something like that in Mexico or Paraguay, I mean, you could be talking maybe just a few thousand or 10,000. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and that's like, think about that, you guys. Like, you're gonna spend a lifetime trying to build a business here in the US, and it might fail. Most businesses fail. Hell, I mean, and then you could try that. You could try to set up two, maybe, maybe don't do it at the same time. Don't like, overwork yourself and stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, it's so to get your foot in the door in some of these places is so much easier, and there's so many less laws that you have to like come by. Like a lot of times it's usually just like one permit. It's usually just like one liquor license. Then you're good for like probably like 10 years or something like that.
Hmm.
And it's just It's so much easier. Like, yeah, at the very beginning, there's going to be a little bit of paperwork. You might not get your answers right away. Like, just be patient. But once you get these stuff, like I mean, I'll give you another example. Like, my sister and my girl over in Paraguay, they both have little like locales, which is like a little like business setup. Like, they're not on like any like super nice busy street, but they're on like little back streets. But each of them pays about $100 a month to rent, right? And then they run their business. My sister has a hair salon. And you ladies who are maybe watch this down the line, you can go to my sister's hair salon. I'll put the link in the description. This is at the map where she's at. uh, and my girl too. She got a nail salon literally like a block and a half away. And they pay around like 100. At somewhere there like a 600,000, which is like less than 100. Point is like, I mean, you could set up shop as long as like, you have a good idea and stuff and you're willing to work there and do something, or you hire people. Like
Mm-hmm.
for example, the average wage in Paraguay, this is just an example, but like average wage is like three, like 20 or something like that, 350 or something is very low, right? So if you overpay people, say you pay them like 500, 600, and or say you pay two people, right? Your labor costs are only 1,200, 1,000 to 1,200 a month, and then they're running your business for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to get people thinking, because so many people like look at big restaurants here, and it is hard, damn near impossible. You damn near have to be born into money nowadays
Yeah.
to to start like serious businesses in the U.S. Um, but if you're not born into money, like you could save a little bit and then start up shop somewhere else.
Mhm.
You know, and I know you had more great points too, but I don't know if we have time to touch on all those. Um, I guess just your last and I'll answer this too, but your best advice for young men who are thinking about moving, or your best advice for young men who are struggling and and uh and maybe thinking about moving abroad.
I've never been asked that before. Um, you know, I, I'm 26 right now. Um, where I'm at as far as mentally, like my vision, my goals, it's hard to say that I saw myself at 21 where I'm at right now, 26. At 21 years old, I can recall I was in my last year of college. I fortunately was able to study abroad, but I had to apply for scholarship school, so I worked hard towards it. So I've had experiences where I've lived on my own before. I've taken on really heavy jobs when I worked in the Alaska 2 years ago. That was a really profound experience. Just hard work and staying in line for something. So my best advice, just for like young guys, young men like myself, they might be 26, they might be in their early 20s, like me, guy, or they might just literally they just might be starting out, like right out of high school. Just put your mind to something, try different things, because people are going to tell you their version of their success story, and they're gonna tell it to you in good faith, thinking like, hey, like my success story of this job and this kind of line of work that I got into, yeah, like you should definitely get into those. But if you've tried those different things, like different careers or volunteer programs or all these stuff, like um, I'm kind of getting sidetracked a little, but basically my point is you try to discover yourself. Do travel if you can, and work and set up one, do different jobs. See what it is that we like, what cultures and those. If you really like all about people music culture or what's want to visit Cleveland, it's not like if it's in your keeping it out, go for it. Oh, same thing with other parts of the world. Um, but um, but yeah, I'll just kind of back to like you said, like some guy that's looking to move abroad. I mean, I haven't moved abroad yet. It's been a progress in my personal journey of getting my papers for my Mexican citizenship. Um, and it's not to say that I was blessed to have Mexican parents because I, to be factual, to be truthful, I'm actually the only uh, person in the family out of like all my cousins, my brothers that has done this. I've been the first one in my family to pursue like dual citizenship, right, and actually do the paperwork, gather the paperwork, go to the register civil. I did all this research on my own, and fortunately with the help of my parents as well at the time. But um, I guess really, if you want something, you're gonna find a way to work for, it, right? It's these things like this whole journey that Ryan is on, that I'm on myself. This is not gonna happen overnight. Like it's gonna take research. It's gonna take logistics, saving up money, uh, doing your research of where it is that you want to invest, what kind of work are you gonna do that's gonna be online or setting up a business in that country that you want to live in or reside in. And my advice is don't give up on your vision. I haven't given up on my vision thus far. I mean, I've gotten this far and I just feel like I'm just starting. So that's my advice. Just be persistent, be serious with your goals. You're going to take one step at a time. You're going to get lost at some moment. You're going to make mistakes. Um, but just have faith in it and just work for it. That's my advice. Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great advice. And you guys, I can attest to like Aaron's character and everything he does. Like, it's funny as hell. Every time I hit up Aaron, I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you been?" And he's like, "Oh, I just did this and I just accomplished this," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm working on this," and like, I just did this and I just researched this, and I'm like, "Damn, dude, like, calm down, man. Like, damn, you're going a little too hard here. Like, damn, save some work for the rest of us, you know." No, but for real, what he's talking about is good. Diversify yourself, and as younger men, when you got so much testosterone in you and you're fucking like 18, 19, 20s and all that, bro, utilize that. Like,
utilize it.
utilize it, man. Like, yeah, maybe I need to take a little of my own ways, like in the gym and shit, but also diversify yourself. Like, I'm telling you, like, I bartended, man, and that's not easy, but like that's what, like, you get to learn about people, you get to learn about, you get to learn a skill too, but like you
Yeah.
also like get to learn money. While people were wasting money, I was making money, and while people were dating, I didn't even have to try a dating. I was just the bartender that some girls have happened to like,
Yeah.
so find like and I'm not just trying to like glorify bartending, but I'm just saying, like, I was involved in a lot of things. I was also, I don't always put this out there, but I was Lambda Theta Phi, the first Latin fraternity in the U.S. So I was deeply involved in that. I was a volunteering. I always had a part-time job, always. Like, since 14, like there's not been a time where I haven't worked. Like, I think there might have been like a week or two period at one point. But besides that, like, I've always been working since like 14. I've always like learned skills. I've also, like, way back in high school, even like when I played American football and stuff, during that time, man, it was funny as hell. Like, I was cutting hair and stuff, like all the way since like from freshman year, and like by the time I hit like junior year, people were paying me to like cut their hair and stuff, and and I was literally making money outside of the athletic trainer's office. Like, there's an outside area, and I would plug in my clippers and just start making money and shit. Like, while I was at school and stuff. Like, when I had like those like seventh and eighth period or whatever, just like a freeze zone period or whatever the hell it was called.
You're just
But
cutting hair.
yeah,
Just cutting. I had
outside of the
classes.
gym, outside of the fucking weight room at my school, it was like, outside the athletic trainers, man. It was like, bro, and that's kind of mindset you need. You need to like have like 45 fucking skills. I'm sorry, I know, like a lot of you guys like probably aren't even on your first or second or third skill yet, but like diversify yourself. Hell, some of this shit could save your life down the line, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Be a proactive bit. for my advice, and I know Ryan would agree, before you even start looking into like going international, living overseas, like be proactive in yourself, invest in yourself first. Take the time to invest in a skill. Uh, if that's like, because I come from that same background where in high school I was involved. I did wrestling. I was part of various groups. Did choir my senior year of high school. I really just took a risk on it. I wasn't a great singer, but I learned a lot from singing. In college, I was part of student government. I had a part-time job. I was a tutor. I always worked while I was in school. I was also a police. They call it an explorer. So I was like a police volunteer for the highway patrol. Did that for like 3 years. I literally, right out of high school, I thought I wanted to be a cop. And
Mhm.
I learned the ropes of what it was, like being a police officer and all that. In the end, it wasn't for me, but I took a lot from those experiences that I learned about like being responsible, being detail oriented, being on time, uh, being all persistent, being being adaptive to your environment. That's super key. Um,
Mhm.
but I think to what Ryan is stating about his background, his history, as young guys, like invest in yourself, find a mentor. If that's not a family member, someone in the community, or whether it's through the internet or in person, you just gotta make those strides to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Because you can never, yeah, you can never, break, you can't lose.
Yeah. Yeah. And the point in yourself, you guys. Don't just throw money at crypto thinking it's gonna save your life. Don't just throw money at Wall Street and at that GameStop fucking stocks. Like I know a lot of us like try to look at the easy way out in life, but there is none. I guarantee you, there is none, dude. You're gonna have to like grind. You're gonna have to deal with hard shit. Every single one of us does. Um, you know, and you know, and diversify and utilize your energy that you got, man, in your 20s. Like just keep going, man. Keep going. Don't stop. Try to and I know this applies to so many guys, but like try to get out of your group chats or like limit your group chat fucking time. Like I know a lot of you
Yes.
guys are in group chats and a lot of this shit it revolves purely around video games. I actually had to take myself out like
Yeah.
6 months ago because I don't even play video games. I haven't even in like since high school. But like the entire thing is just like ding 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 ding, and all of it's about like just nonsense, like stuff that's
Yeah.
not going to improve your life.
Yeah.
I love to talk just about Aaron. Like me and Aaron are connected now because he's thinking about moving to Paraguay. I don't know why I didn't bring that up in the beginning, but it's obvious, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm definitely gonna visit there. It's in my
yeah, or he wants to pursue residency most likely down the line. Um, so and like these are boss moves. Aaron's a very young man, you guys, 26 years old. I mean, if you think about it, most expats are like in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like I'm relatively young, but Aaron is even younger than me, you guys. Like Aaron, like and Aaron tell. So there's another thing for you guys. Aaron tells me sometimes like I wish I would have done this sooner, but what he just said too though is like, but what everything you're doing in America is just as important. You still need to build your skills. You still need to build your character. You still need to,
social
frank,
skills.
yeah, frankly, have some relationships in America. So you're not just like cold turkey, like, oh my God, like I'm just gonna like think that girls are just gonna like me even in Latin America. Like, no, bro, you still gotta like, have some like charisma, like something.
You gotta give something to the world.
Yeah.
We gotta. It's not just limited to your home country. It's gotta. Well, you gotta build first. You gotta build yourself. Um gotta work on yourself. Definitely. You gotta
Yeah.
work on yourself.
Yeah, and and we could go down the whole guru route and be like, you know, uh, I call it the no shit advice, like just live, bro. Just like get a six pack, bro. Everything,
Yeah.
get your money up, bro. And shit. It's like that's the no shit advice. Like yes, and I try not to give that on my channel. I'm not gonna go down the whole red pill, like, oh, well, you need to be this kind of man. It's like. I mean, look at how different me and Aaron are. We have like
Yeah,
a lot of stuff that like we've done differently in life, but we come together when it comes to like and me and him aren't even like really on the same page politically. Probably we haven't even talked about that, but like I'm sure we have way more in common than we actually think we do. But like
yeah,
the thing is like we agree on these fundamental things in life that like the projections that you need to take, some of the steps you need to take, being realistic about the American economy, being realistic about opportunities. It's not the same to get a degree anymore like it was even just like 15 years ago when like I just got mine like 10 years ago. But like even now, I feel like there's even more competition for like a lot of degrees, and just start like research this stuff, research. Be like Aaron, hit people up who have done it. To invest in
consultation
yourself.
calls, consultation calls. That's helped me as well too.
Yeah,
On yeah, and invest like how he said earlier, like the whole crypto and all that. Like, I mean, that's if you have money to gamble, but
yeah,
investing yourself, like invest money, invest time, talk to mentors, talk to people who are doing something that maybe you want to do. And the thing is, down the line, it may not be something you want to do, but like you can at least look back and say, okay, I gave that a shot. You know,
yeah,
um, so yeah, I mean, like I'm telling you, 5 years ago, it's gonna be almost 5 years ago when I was still in school, I was gonna get ready to study abroad. I wasn't really thinking about all this like internationalize or living overseas, but
yep,
I I I I took that risk. I opened myself. I put myself in the fire, as when they say, and then I studied abroad, and it kind of just opened my eyes. It opened my paradigm to other things, which led me to where I'm at now. So
yeah, yeah. No, that's wonderful, man. Um, yeah, you guys. So pretty much be Aaron. Like pretty much that's what the whole video is about. And if you're not Aaron, then
be Ryan.
you ain't shit, bro. Nah, just playing, you guys. I be clowning, man. So, all right, all right. Just last thoughts. Just last thoughts. I don't have no idea how long, but it feels like a long. But that's okay because it's been a wonderful, wonderful conversation that I
It
hope
has.
that a lot of guys can. And I keep saying guys because yes, realistically, I've already been seeing the stats and like the guys are the ones searching out this info. If there are women, that's awesome too. If there's ladies that stuck around for this whole thing, please let us know in the comments. That'd be wonderful. But like the realistically, young guys are struggling. Me and Aaron can relate to young men's struggles. Uh, we've been through a lot of that stuff. You're gonna come through super hard moments in life too, you guys. And I have not always, to say lightly, very lightly, I have not always dealt with those the right ways.
Yeah.
I've been hard in alcohol. I've been in trouble with the police. Hell, even when I had to do my FBI certificate, like shit pops up in the past, and I had to pay more money to get residency and like all that stuff. Um, but please, you guys, please, for the love of God, don't get felonies though. A lot of this shit is gonna be much harder and or maybe impossible. I'm just gonna keep it honest. So like if you have misdemeanors, that's fine. I mean it's not fine, like you know what I mean? But like, it's 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 gonna be doable though. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a deal breaker. You can still pursue stuff. Like I said, I'm imperfect. Yeah, I've had been in trouble with the law too and stuff. Um but just like if you are one of these guys who are just like in your basement playing video games and you turn on this conversation and stuff and you like what you're hearing, especially what Aaron's telling you because he's doing this significantly younger than most people out here. um you know try to listen to what he's saying, man. um you know try to diversify yourself, work hard, gain skills, and then make a plan and stick to it, man. Make a plan. And if you gotta say no to dating for a little while or a long while like I did, then that's what you got to do, man. Because I guarantee you, if you pursue like some super serious relationships in the US, you may not pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that you can't date, and I'm not saying that you should go as cold turkey as I've been here, but like what I'm trying to say is that like don't get sidetracked.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Don't
really boiled down
don't
to.
yeah, don't add to a full plate that you got already.
Yes, it's a better way to say it.
Don't add to it. Yeah, and just work on work, work, just like what Ryan was saying, just work on yourself, and yeah, and to any guys that are like, in that situation, like they don't know what to do or stuff like that. I mean, you have Ryan's channel. I don't have a channel yet at the moment, but I mean, might be something to consider down the road when I'm already.
You could have equal rights to this entire video. Like I'll send you the file. You can upload it yourself. For real.
Yeah, oh,
Uh,
definitely.
if we can do file sharing, I don't know. Maybe it's hard because it's going to be a big file, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll figure something out.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, just yeah, just take it one day at a time. That's how I've been doing it. It's been a process for me, and I know for you guys, learning to take our days one day at a time and our goals one step at a time. That's what's helped me the most. It's helped me the most to stay focused, to know that when I'm feeling like things aren't going on my way, it's temporary. Then knowing that, like, okay, it's gonna work out. I'm sure it's gonna work out. But
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, yeah, one day at a time, one moment at a time. Hell, even in one day, you could have like several different feelings and emotions. You could be up and down in one single day. Yeah, I really like that movie Training Day where the cop is high or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, it's all about your smiles and cries." And
yeah,
but I really did like that. That stuck out to me because it's like, yeah, you know what? Like I've like had to grind hard, and I've been super heartbroken in the same day. Or it's like I've been super down, but like I get my shit together, and then like later at night, like I'll start editing a video, and then I'll drop it, or like something like that.
yeah,
So try not to be overly stressed about things. I know you're gonna experience like economic hardship, heartbreak, rejection,
yeah,
like all kinds of stuff, man. That's gonna make you feel bad. But believe me, you're not the only one. Look at the numbers out there. I'm not gonna post all the numbers and stuff like I did in the video because they're already out there. You already know this.
yeah,
I don't have to tell you about like loneliness. Not you, Aaron, but like the world, like about
yeah,
loneliness, isolation, especially for young men. It's an epidemic. You guys got to solve it. It's gonna be significantly hard if you try to play the rat race. I'm telling you, that's what this channel is about. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a path of a ton of resistance. You know what I mean? You could go through this path that me and Aaron are pursuing. It's not less resistance, but it's a different kind. There's more reward at the end.
yeah.
Um, once you figure out some of the hard stuff. Um, and also, if you guys are thinking about Latin America and about Hawaii, get on your Spanish, you guys. Like, please, for the love of God, I've seen some travelers here. I don't want to mention their names, but like, bro, I mean, like, it's just sometimes it's just embarrassing, and it's not even the fact that they're it's almost it's more their approach. It's not even their lack of words. It's just like and that goes to lack of culture, lack of them like learning like the culture. They're just going out there acting a fool,
Yeah.
saying dumb stuff, like making women clean like on camera before they go on a date, and like maybe I gave away who I'm talking about here. I'm
It's
just like I'm
it's
just
not
like
it's not it's not it's creepy, or it's just not.
yeah, yeah, guys, don't do that creepy stuff. Like and I try to think about like a lot of these girls these guys are pursuing. Like I think about them, my sister and stuff. Like because I do have family like in Latin America. Like, this is not a game for us. Like these are our families and stuff too. You're talking about these are our people. Don't come to our countries and disrespect our people. It's one thing if you fuck up a little bit, like maybe you break a couple of hearts, but it's a whole nother thing if you like start doing disrespectful stuff on camera, not really like understanding the culture. And like, believe me, I'm gonna do interviews, and I'm gonna like probably even do street interviews and stuff once I get down there. But like, I know my red lines. I know where I need to cross, not cross, ask, not ask, how to approach, not approach, um, and that kind of thing. So like, just learn to be a human being first.
Yeah.
um, okay, I think we need to end it here. We've given a shit ton of advice. I'll try to chop this up, and we'll be doing our thing, but yeah, thanks for if people are sticking through this whole entire thing, or if you're skipping around, thanks for sticking in there. I think this was a great conversation, to be honest. Hopefully you learned a lot from Aaron. Hopefully you learned a little from me. uh, and consider Paraguay. And in fact, I didn't say this yet, but like later in life, I actually will pursue residency in Mexico, and I'll tell you exactly why. It's not to do business, but it's going to be purely to visit people. I don't want to go all the way to the U.S. and I quite frankly, I don't really want to be stepping foot in the U.S. too much in the long term future. So at some point, I will pursue Mexico, and that's a way easier flight for a lot of people to be like, oh hey, I'll go meet you in, I don't know, Guadalajara, than it is to like in Paraguay. So it's like, okay, we'll meet somewhere in the middle. At least that's where I'm like where I'm at. So anyways, I'm probably gonna seek Aaron's advice like and his knowledge down the line, but you know, yeah. So that's where I'm at, and for Aaron, man, I wish you the best, dude. Like, you're really killing it out here. Like, I don't think you guys know how hard Aaron is working, but like like I said, every single time we talk, like he just has so many updates, and he's just like out here killing the game. He's not letting little stuff stress him. He's not just like on group chats and gaming all day, like a lot of us guys are.
That's the last thing I
Generation
do.
is, and so he's doing all the right things. So learn from him. Um, all right, you guys. We'll see you in future videos coming up here. There's a lot of conversations we can keep having on before, like at least I touched down in Paraguay. If you really think about it, there's a ton of travel content out there. We're trying to break down some of the deeper reasons, issues that are going on in the world. I'll invite Aaron on the channel again. This is not going to be the last you see of Aaron, and our goal is to meet up one day once Aaron sets foot in Paraguay, and we'll do an in-person interview, and it'll be dope. So you guys stay on the channel, subscribe, and yeah, you'll be seeing Aaron. Oh, and check out his other video if you want the details of like the residency process. Check it out on Jose Arteaga Travels channel. He's a great guy as well. I'll put a link somewhere in the video or down below or whatever. Yeah. So thanks, Aaron, for joining us for a long video. Hopefully you get some good beneficial stuff out of this too. So
Yeah. No, definitely. I lost track of time. I,
me too, man.
I, I had to look at the clock. I'm like, it's been like 2 hours, I think. Like, but
Maybe even longer. Hopefully,
maybe even longer. But I mean, we did cover a lot of stuff, and I want to thank you for also having me on the channel. I mean, just I don't have a channel yet at the moment, but that's the goal to eventually, like down the road, is to visit Paraguay and to do an interview and just discuss some of the same things that we discussed. But it would be 100 times cooler if it's like in person.
oh yeah, we're gonna be at a cool place, you guys, and there's no doubt. Like we'll probably have a like mojito or something, and then just
Yeah.
at a dope ass place. Palm trees.
I'll have to try the what is it? The tereré?
Oh yeah, the tea. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's no doubt, man. That's no doubt. You're gonna be drinking that on a daily basis, like just like all of us. See that right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Aaron. Man. Yeah. Good luck out there, and shit, man. We'll get you back on the channel here. Maybe in a couple months, or we'll see. but yeah. Thanks, my man. Yeah, and I'm just gonna end this here. So take care, everyone. Later.